shot, baby.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Star Wars dropped a brand new Mandalorian Grogu trailer. There's a little bit of new footage, some Easter eggs. We've also confirmed some details about the movie, what's going on with Rada the Hutt, and some of the mystery scenes from previous trailers, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, of course I'll be doing all the videos for the movie. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. Now that we've entered the holiday corridor, just expect to see more big trailers from everybody in general for all the big movies coming next year. We have CCXP in a couple weeks too, so I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more about Ahsoka Season 2 in the next several weeks as well. The other really big thing happening in Star Wars next year is Ahsoka Season 2. There's going to be way more Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader stuff happening. They've already been talking about it a lot. They released a trailer. I've done a much longer video for it, so I'll link it at the end of this. And the other really good news is that Jon Favreau recently revealed that he didn't cannibalize the Mandalorian Season 4 scripts, the plot, that he was going to do for the TV series in order to make the movie. So the movie itself is not meant to be a replacement for Season 4, and he still has the Season 4 scripts ready to go sitting on his desk right now, implying that they could still do a Season 4 after this movie at some point. Like, why would he say he has the scripts ready to go on his desk if he wasn't planning on doing Season 4 at some point? We will unpack that as we go along because there has been a huge shift in Star Wars strategy for the movies and the TV series and just how they organize the brand just in general. There's a very tongue-in-cheek moment of Grogu here using the Force to actually change his name from Baby Yoda to Grogu, calling back to all the moments when they first debuted the character and people called him Baby Yoda for a long time until they revealed that his actual name was Grogu.
I had written it in the script from very early on, and we finally revealed it in the show. But of course, everybody knows Grogu as Baby Yoda, which, by the way, is fine with all of us. We still call him Baby Yoda too. But he prefers to be called Baby Grogu. If you notice in the show, he perks up a lot when you say his name.
The funny thing about this is that Jon Favreau said that they actually loved the idea of calling him Baby Yoda. The only reason why it became a problem is because a lot of casual fans weren't sure if it was an actual baby version of Yoda and were confused about that. They didn't realize that it was a completely separate character from Yoda. In the new version of the trailer, they also swapped in footage featuring Grogu destroying the Mouser droid from the D23 trailer in the Japanese trailer. I did a much longer video for that a while ago. It's meant to be part of this longer scene of them attacking this snowy Imperial base here where Grogu uses the Force to crush the Mouser droid. We learned a little more about what's going on with Rada the Hutt during the movie, too. So Jeremy Allen White, who's actually voicing the character, said that Rada teams up with Mando and Grogu and helps them on their adventure during the film. Connecting the dots, what he's actually probably talking about is when Mando is trying to get into the Hutt vault here with these Old Republic-looking droids guarding it. You probably noticed that it's the Desaligic clan symbol on it. This is Jabba and therefore Rada the Hutt's family symbol on it, so Mando probably needs Rada's help to get into his family vault and get whatever's inside of it. On the official versions of the movie poster, they actually have the Hutt twins from the Book of Boba Fett. They're meant to be canonically cousins of Jabba and Rada, so there's probably a much bigger storyline with Jabba's family just in general tied to Rada the Hutt and this vault. Just the fact that it's being guarded by droids that look like they're Old Republic era, older than the prequel era, makes it seem like it's been here for centuries, if not thousands of years. Hutts also live very long lifespans, too. This is probably part of the main mission of the movie that they're on. We've probably seen them taking few smaller bounties, too, because that's what they've been doing since the events of The Mandalorian Season 3 ending, working for the New Republic. Sigourney Weaver's Colonel character here, she's in charge of the base here that we saw Carson Teva at. We've been here a couple times in previous seasons. And this monster that Mando is forced to fight in the ring before he gets Rada's help in the gladiator pit here is meant to be a Mantellan Savrip, a real version of one of the pieces from the Dejaric board on the Millennium Falcon. So it's just meant to be another big eye-winking moment from behind the camera, calling back to A New Hope, but also Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni doing bigger versions of their toys, which is pretty much what they did in previous seasons, like here's live-action versions of the games that we played with our Star Wars toys when we were kids.
Because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
Just based on the progression of the fights, it seems like Mando and Grogu go to the gladiator pit to get Rada's help and watch him fight because he has that giant 8-pack on him, like he's super swole now. What a twist. Maybe that's because of the trauma he experienced when he was a baby. Then they wind up having to fight the Savrip, and then they probably get Rada's help after this and get the information on his Hutt family clan's vault. The other really big deep cut Easter egg here, if you spot it in the background, zoom in and enhance in the cityscape, you actually see an advertisement in universe for the Halcyon cruiser, which is the real life Star Wars Starliner hotel that they actually closed down a little while ago too. Like the really expensive one, people did hours long video essays on what went wrong with that Star Wars hotel. I never quite found the time to go visit it myself, but if you did actually visit that Star Wars hotel, just post all your reactions to it in the comments below if you liked it or if you hated it. Really, I think the biggest criticism against it was the crazy, crazy high price. Like, it was a very, very expensive trip. Probably one of the other biggest things during the trailer here, one of the biggest surprises, is that he's flying another Razor Crest here to a Delphi base. Just seems like he found another model of this ship. There are a lot of questions about how he got the Razor Crest back. I don't think it's the exact same Razor Crest that got blown up during The Mandalorian Season 2, because it basically got incinerated. Not totally clear what they're investigating here, where you see Grogu looking through the little eyeglass here, just having a little bit of fun with Dad. Whatever it seems like they're doing here, they're busting into this Imperial base. It might have something to do with them taking out all these people in this room in the leaked trailer. When Grogu and the Anzellans are crawling through the little pipes here, not totally clear where they are or why they're doing this. Mando takes out all these dudes in this bar, not totally sure what planet this is on, but Grogu is here with him. There's another water-based creature from lore. He might seem familiar, not totally sure why they're fighting him here or what's going on in this particular scene. They just want to show you some of the aliens they pulled out of the lore, like a whole bunch of deep cuts. I believe this is an updated, modern special effects version of an Amanaman who's one of the characters featured inside Jabba's palace, like one of the aliens, so expect a lot of deep cuts like that in the movie. Notice that Grogu is learning, though, he can operate some of the controls properly on the Razor Crest. Like, it looks like he isn't just randomly pressing buttons for fun like he did when he first found him. My assumption is that all the Imperials that he meets are one of the factions of the Shadow Council. Like, they're just featuring more Shadow Council during this, because there's going to be a lot of that involved with the movie-related stuff that they're doing building up to the big Thrawn movie that Dave Filoni is supposed to still be doing, which might just be one of the subsequent Mandalorian and Grogu movies now. Jon Favreau teasing that they still might actually do The Mandalorian Season 4 means they might not have completely pivoted away from the live-action series. We know they're doing Ahsoka Season 2, but currently that's the last scheduled thing that we know about that they're doing is a live-action TV series. Like, we don't know if they're going to stop doing Ahsoka after Season 2. Will they just shift her into the movies after this?
Culminating all of the storylines, the relationships, the characters that had been established over years and that many people grew up with. And there I was trying to support as much as I could what that fruition was.
No, Ahsoka's not there, John. She's over here. And I put her back in this box.
When they announced they were doing the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it seemed like it was part of a larger shift where Star Wars was just going to focus more on theatrical movies, and then maybe eventually they would do some TV series in the future. Part of the idea as we know it is that if this new Mandalorian and Grogu movie is successful, they'll continue with sequels to this movie in addition to the Thrawn crossover movie that Dave Filoni is eventually going to do. He's still supposed to direct that. So assuming that things go well with this first movie, this Mandalorian part of the timeline where they're slowly adapting a version of the Thrawn trilogy from the original expanded universe books, like that Thrawn trilogy, we will just stay in this part of the timeline for a good long while for the next several years, in addition to a couple of other movies later in the timeline, like the Star Wars Starfighter movie, which takes place after The Rise of Skywalker, like at least 5 to 10 years after The Rise of Skywalker. That Sean Levy, Ryan Gosling movie isn't meant to be connected to Star Wars Episode 10 or anything like that. It's just meant to be a one-off thing, like an adventure all on its own. But supposedly, there will be some minor connections to what's happening with other movies in that part of the timeline that Star Wars eventually wants to do. My assumption there is they try to make it relatively self-contained, but if it does really well, then they will try to connect it to other stuff in that part of the timeline. But it is not meant to be connected to anything during the Mandalorian and Grogu part of the timeline, so do not expect an older version of Grogu to show up during that. When it comes to actual Ahsoka Season 2 plot, mostly what they've talked about and what we saw during the trailers was them culminating the Mortis Gods arc that they set up at the end of Season 1, like the sort of teasing Mortis Gods as if we would actually see live-action versions of that storyline. And Dave Filoni addressing the whole Rory McCann recasting as Baylan Skoll taking over for Ray Stevenson. The really cool thing about this is that Rory McCann was actually real-life friends with Ray Stevenson long ago, so it actually wound up being even more meaningful because it's sort of like your friend taking over for your role if something happened to you. One of the other cool details that Dave Filoni and the Star Wars people revealed is that Rory McCann was actually up for a Star Wars role long before Ahsoka Season 2, so this is one of the reasons why they went to him to recast for Baylan Skoll too. Originally, he was in talks to play a character during Andor Season 2. They didn't say which character, but you can let me know who you think he was supposed to play. It sounds like what happened is they chose to go with a different actor, so Rory McCann was already sort of in their system, like they were already thinking about him, like, oh, you're an amazing actor, we need to do something with you, and then along comes this opportunity during Ahsoka Season 2. And it just winds up being the coincidence of coincidences that he was a real-life, very good friend of Ray Stevenson, so it just felt like a much more meaningful role for him to play. Knowing that, I am kind of happy that he was not cast during Andor Season 2, because then he wouldn't be able to do this Ahsoka Season 2 role. There's going to be a lot of big stuff happening in the next several weeks, big announcements just in general too, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some more official footage at CCXP in a couple weeks. Click here for my new Ahsoka Season 2 trailer video, and click here for all my other Star Wars videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.